Students, let we begin the part 2 of phylum Annelids. In part 1, I have discussed you some important features regarding the phylum Annelida and the different class. In this video section, I will also explain you some remain part of phylum Annelids, that is actually describe the features, important features of phylum Annelida. Now, in this video section, I will describe you the other features that actually remain left from the first video. Actually, in previous video, you have seen the habitat and the different class of phylum Annelida, and in this video let us begin the digestion, nutrition, respiration, circulation, excretion, reproduction, development. So in this video there is also the features of Annelida. The topic should be continue as features of Annelida. Features of Annelida. Habitat is over. Now back to the digestion and nutrition. Digestion and nutrition. Actually, some of the annelids like Hirudinaria is actually the blood feeders, so there is no need of a digestive system in them because they actually absorb the well nutrients and digested food materials from the human being and other mammals. So there is no need of complex body design, there is no need of a complex digestive system. The nutrition is also very simple as like the digestion. But apart from Hirudinaria, other annelids like earthworms. Earthworms are actually the soil feeder animals. And how do they get nutrients from the soil? When the soil is fed by the earthworm, that is the moist and water containing soil, then the organic material present inside the soil will later absorb into the body of annelids, and according to their requirement they will use at the different purpose. And then the nitrogenous waste of animals, as you know that the nitrogen is the non-essential substances for animal but essential for the plant. So the nitrogen containing waste will be released out into the same soil, and then the same soil will be released out from the body and later deposit in form of little droplets, that is little structures over the surface, over the place where they excrete. That deposition of little spherical soil has a lot of nitrogen because it will released out by the earthworm during the excretion process. That nitrogen containing soil that is released by the earthworm as a byproduct, as a waste material, is actually called as casting. That is actually called as casting, and it is essential for the farmers. So annelids called friends of farmers. How do explain the annelids called earthworm called friends of farmers? Because during the excretion they eliminate large amount of soil containing nitrogen, which is in favor of plants. So the annelids containing casting and the casting containing nitrogen is very important. So earthworm called friends of farmer. That is the basic way that you can define the excretion also. So in this topic we have also covered the process of excretion. The main excretive substances is actually nitrogen if they are the pure terrestrial. If the annelids are aquatic, then they actually release the ammonia, not nitrogen. Nitrogen containing urea. If the terrestrial, then it contain nitrogen containing substances urea, and if the annelids are aquatic, then they release the waste material nitrogen containing ammonia. That is the key difference between the annelids that are aquatic and terrestrial. Now back to the other features. The feature number second in this video session, and in the previous you have actually 2 to 3 points regarding the features of annelids. Now the respiration. As you have studied well in class 10th, the body surface of annelids are sticky and they consist a lot of mucus. The mucus actually allow to stick the oxygen from the environment and dissolve them into the upper part of the body, and later the oxygen is delivered to the blood system of the circulatory system of the earthworm. And similar kinds of the respiration occurs in any other annelids. So the annelids are actually direct dissolve their oxygen and also release the carbon dioxide to the body surface. There is no special organs for respiration found in annelids and earthworm. So how do annelid respirate? By through the body surface, and that kinds of respiration is known as cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration. When the respiration performed by the body surface or skin, when the respiration performed by the body surface or skin, then that kinds of respiration is known as cutaneous respiration. And when the body respiration occurs through the lungs, as like you me, then the respiration is a type of pulmonary, that is pulmonary respiration. So that is somehow the types of respiration. Now back to the circulation in annelid. Circulation. Earthworm and other annelids are actually first animals in which the closed circulatory system can be seen. Closed circulatory system, and only one invertebrate. Invertebrate means that are actually not belong to phylum Chordata, and some phylum Vertebrata do not consist bones. So animals belong to annelids are the first animal on earth in which closed circulatory systems are found. In the beginning of this chapter, in the beginning of the animal kingdom, I have aware you, when the blood flow in the closed packet, then that kinds of blood is known as the closed circulatory system. That kinds of the system is known as closed circulatory system. And when the blood flow openly, then that kinds of circulatory system is known as open type of blood circulatory system. But actually annelid blood also consists the hemoglobin, that is actually flow without a clotting factor throughout the body. That is the major key difference between the blood of human being and annelids. But the similarity between human being and annelid, both has the closed type of blood circulatory system. Now back to the other features regarding the phylum Annelida, that is excretion. Excretion, I think over the excretive material may be ammonia or urea. If they are actually terrestrial, then the ammonia excretory system. If the annelids are terrestrial, then the excretory products are actually urea, and if the annelids are aquatic, then the ammonia. The both are actually nitrogen containing substances. Now back to the reproduction. Reproduction, you should mention the point as according to you. Reproduction in annelids. Actually annelids, like earthworm, is bisexual. This is the sign of bisexual, in which the single body consists both male and female reproductive system. That is, annelids are actually hermaphrodite. The bisexual animals are also known as hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite, P-H-R-O-D-I-T-E. So animals that consist both male and female reproductive system in the same body, that is called as hermaphrodite. And the annelids, like earthworm, consist both and male and female reproductive system, that is testis and ovary are the key reproductive or primary reproductive system that are actually represent the male and female reproductive system that are found in the same body of annelids like earthworm. Let us talk about which segment. As you know that the single earthworm consists 100 to 120 number of segments. So let us talk about the which segment consists testis and which segment consists ovary. Actually testis is located 10th, 11th, that is 10 and 12 number of segment. That is, there are two pair of testis. Testis are actually two pair, and one pair is 10 number of segment, and other second pairs of testis is the two pairs, that is segment number 12. And the main function of testis is to release the sperm. Now back to the ovary. Actually ovary are placed at the segment number, at the mid segment number 12 to 13, and it is found in between the 12 to 13 number of segment, and it is single pair. So what are the similarity, what are the difference between male and female reproductive system? The testes are actually two pairs and ovary are actually one pair. Listen carefully. The other characteristics of earthworm is presence of a very important segment, that is segment number 14, 15 and 16 is important for any lead, because that segment is known as Clyde-Taylor segment. That segment is known as Clyde-Taylor segment, and that segment later form a pouch like structure that is plugged from the both end, that is known as cocoon, and inside the cocoon the embryo of earthworm develop. Embryo of earthworm develop inside the cocoon. And how do cocoon form? Cocoons form from the Clyde-Taylor segment. And what are the Clyde-Taylor segment? Segment number 14, 15, 16 of any leads called Clyde-Taylor segment. Actually, earthworm is bisexual, but male and female reproductive system do not develop at the same time. So the male and female develop at the different time. So there is a need of two parents, and sexual reproduction are found in annelids. So it may be asked in your examination, why do animals like annelids are bisexual but do not perform the asexual type? Bisexual, but why there is need of two parents? Because the male and female reproductive system do not develop at the same times. So suppose that this one is the posterior end of the male and this one is the posterior end of female. Then what happen? Then the testis and ovary, the male and female genital aperture come closer to each others, and male release the sperm that will store into very special organs of female body, that is known as spermatheca, and spermatheca store all sperm. And when the egg cells, that is ovary release egg cell or ovum, are actually mature in the female, then what happen? Then they will use the sperm, and that is later perform the process of fertilization. Then suppose that this is the body of female that receive the sperm, that is sperm from the male, and then the male gets separate out. Then the fusion of male and female gametes perform in the region of 14, 15 and 16 number of 14, 15 and 16 number of segment. Then what happen? Then after fertilization, the 14, 15 and 16 number of segment release very special chemicals that form a layer around the 14, 15 and 16, and that layer become dry to form the cocoon. And now after the formation of the important dry layer, then the earthworm pull itself from the posterior side and release the cocoons outside. Then after releasing the cocoon get actually plugged, and inside the plugged cocoon the zygote, that is after fertilization form, later convert into different earthworms, and later after in favorable condition the cocoon release all kinds of earthworm into the soil. That is the overall concept regarding the reproduction of earthworm, and I hope you have a pre-mindset regarding the hermaphrodite, unisexual and bisexual, and you can easily explain how do earthworm reproduces. In next video lecture I will describe you phylum Arthropoda. Thank you.